Good day everyone! I'm Sir Sherlon Miguel S. Landingin from Laura de Leon Halili High School of Doña Remedios, Trinidad, Bulacan. I hope that you're doing fine today. Today, we're going to explore the arts and traditions of the West. In this video, you are encouraged to be familiar with the Western classical art traditions on paintings and sculptures. Varied activities are also provided for you to have a deeper understanding of the lesson. I hope that you will be enjoying our Western trip as we discover classical art of the West. Are you excited? Okay, excellent! So at the end of the lesson, you are expected to analyze different characteristics of artworks produced in different art periods. Determine the importance of traditional arts on our daily lives today, and produce an artwork using the techniques of the early age. Before we time travel, I want you to solve this puzzle. All you have to do is to find 10 words that are connected to Western classical art traditions. I will read the definition for you to find easily the words. Are you ready? That's good to hear. Let's start. Number 1. All human existence before the emergence of writing. Number 2. To make the deceased afterlife place pleasant. Number 3. Depict natural figures with dynamic compositions. Number 4. Most were copied or imitated from Hellenic Greek paintings. Number 5. Lively styles of paintings which had been invented in Greek and Rome for Christian subjects. Number 6. It emphasized cosmopolitan style, elegant-mannered and sophisticated. Number 7. An art process where an image is created using an assemblage of small pieces of colored glass, stones, or other materials. Number 8. Method of painting water-based pigments. Number 9. Developed by Greek shipbuilders who use hot wax to fill the cracks of the ship. Number 10. Largely placed mosaics on the walls of the churches that follows a strict frontage. Okay, let us check if your answers are correct. Here is another activity. Arrange the jumbled letters to form the word that we are looking for. I will read the definition carefully for you to come up with the correct answer. Good luck! Number 1. This element of art has different types, including horizontal, vertical, wavy, diagonal, and more. Number 2. Areas of enclosed space that are two-dimensional. Shapes are flat and can only have height and width. Number 3. It is an element of two-dimensional and three-dimensional designs and is distinguished by its perceived visual and physical properties. Number 4. A three-dimensional object with volume and height, width, and depth. Number 5. Deals with the lightness or darkness of a color. Number 6. Present when light strikes an object and it is reflected back into the eye, a reaction to a hue arising in the optic nerve. Number 7. The area within, around, above, or below of an object or objects. Let us check your answers. Here are the list of the correct answers. Number 1, line. Number 2, shape. Number 3, texture. Number 4, form. Number 5, value. Number 6, color. And number 7, space. How many of you got the perfect score? Very good. So let's now go to our discussion. Western classical art tradition includes all human existence before the emergence of writing. Its arts are only one clue to understanding of early human life and culture, found inside the caves, which may have been their way of communicating with each other. For religious and ceremonial purposes, drawings of animals were usually correct in proportion. Cave of Laxus. Dominant features were large animals native in the region, discovered on September 12, 1940. Some sections have been identified inside the cave, such as the Great Hall of the Bulls, the Lateral Passage, the Shaft of the Dead Man, the Chamber of Engravings, the Painted Gallery, and the Chamber of Felines. Paintings from ancient Egypt. To make the deceased afterlife place pleasant. Themes include journey to the underworld, introducing the deceased to the gods of the underworld by their protective deities. Emphasize the importance of life after death and the preservation of the knowledge of the past. Highly stylized, symbolic, and shows the profile view of an animal or a person. Main colors used were black, red, blue, gold, and green, derived from mineral pigments that can withstand strong sunlight without fading. Paintings on the walls of the tomb show events of the life of the king while he was still on earth and the scenes he expects to encounter in the underworld after his death. Paintings from sarcophagus of Tutankhamun the 18th dynasty, 1362 AD to 253 BC. Paintings from Classical Greek era, most commonly found in vases, panels, and tombs. Depict natural figures with dynamic compositions. Subjects were battle scenes, mythological figures, and everyday scenes reveal a grasp of linear perspective and naturalist perspective. Most common methods of Greek painting. Fresco, a method of painting water-based pigments on a freshly applied plaster. Encaustic, developed by Greek shipbuilders. Kirch vases red, figured pottery named after the place where it's found, ships. Panel painting, paintings on flat panels. Tomb or wall painting, popular during the classical period. uses the method fresco in either tempera or encaustic. Painting from the Roman era. Most were copied or imitated from Hellenic Greek paintings. Fresco technique was used in brightly colored background, division of the wall into a multiple rectangular areas, and multi-point perspective. It is have a wide variety of subjects, animals, everyday life, still life, mythological subjects, portraits, and landscapes. Development of landscaping painting. The main innovation of Roman from Greek painting mosaic, an art process where an image is created using an assemblage. Byzantine paintings. Lively styles of paintings which had been invented in Greek and Rome for Christian subjects. Greek and Oriental styles seem to blend together in the magnificent, imposing images which adorn the churches in large and small forms. The court of the Empress Theodora, mosaic, 6th century AD, San Vitale Ravenna. Theodora was an Asian queen with dark eyes and hair with fierce expression. Romanesque paintings largely place mosaics on the walls of the churches that follows a strict frontal pose. Has a remarkable variety of artistic traditions such as modeling and treatment of faces and draperies that follow Byzantine convention. Refreshingly decorative feeling comes from Southern French styles, and it shows traces of Mozarabic influence. Underneath the mandorella is a black band with white writing. Each side of the center window are 3 arches resting on columns of capitals in green, red, and black, and in between of the figures of Virgin Mary and 5 saints are columns of vertical, wavy line patterns. Paintings from the Gothic era, confined in the illumination of the manuscript pages and the painting of the frescoes on the walls of churches in cosmopolitan style, elegant-mannered and sophisticated. Depict popular legends and love stories. Patterns like Mille Fleurs or Thousand Flowers show influence due to the Crusade stained glass windows were created to transform the vast stone's interiors with warm, glowing color at the same time to instruct Christians in their faith. Lady and the Unicorn Tapestry. Rose window from the north transept and the Shepherd David show some realistic details and naive naturalism. Sculptures of the early age and prehistoric era. Materials used vary according to region and locality. Result of natural erosions and not of human artistry. Carving may have mythological religious significance. Venus of Willendorf, carved from limestone with excessively heavy breast and abdomen, use a charm to ensure fertility. Venus of Brasimpu, a 25,000 years old sculpture, is a sculpture of a lady with a hood, a fragmentary ivory figurine from the Upper Paleolithic era that realistically represents the human face and hairstyle. Sculptures from the Egyptian era widely use symbolic elements such as form, hieroglyphics, relative size, location, materials, color, actions, and gestures. Tombs require the most extensive use of sculpture. Most common material used are wood, ivory,
and stones. Symbolisms were heavily used to represent the gods. They were represented as composite creatures with animal heads on human bodies. Relief compositions were arranged in horizontal lines to record an event or to represent an action. Most of the time, the gods were shown larger than humans, the kings larger than their followers, the dead larger than the living. Empty space were filled with figures or hieroglyphics. All individuals' components were all brought to the plane of representation and laid out like writing. Sculptures from the classical period. Greek sculptures. Myron the Discopulus, 450 BC, shows an attitude of maximum tension, full of compressed energy and to explode an action. Hellenic style was one of the popular styles. More elaborated patterns, mannered arrangement of figures and groups, emphasis on the representation of movements for dramatic effects. Tense and stiff bodies were hidden within enfolding robes, had finally evolved and showed all the points of human anatomy on proportion after 3 centuries of experiments. Roman sculptures, made of monumental terracotta, did not attempt to compete with Greek works of history or mythology. Produced reliefs in the great Roman triumphal columns with continuous narrative reliefs around the Portonacio sarcophagus between 180 to 190 BCE. Used for the burial of Roman general involved campaign of Marcus Aurelius, best known and most elaborate of all sarcophagus, box-like funeral receptacle for a dead body. Depicts the battle scenes between Romans and Germans, carved in marble sarcophagus. Byzantine sculptures. Dominant themes are religious, everyday life scenes and motifs from nature. Animals were used as symbols while some had acoustic signs, form of writing in which a message is formed by taking the first letter, syllable, or word of different lines and putting them together, containing great theological significance. The Berbini diptych is an example of early Byzantine ivory work. Romanesque sculptures. Gothic sculptures have greater freedom of style began to project outward given particular attitudes instead of being set into particular patterns more lively and realistic. Resurrection of the Virgin. End of the 12th century in Cathedral Amiens. Famous pieces are reliquaries, altar frontals, crucifixes and devotional images. Last Judgment. An architectural element within the arch or pediment of West Portal in Cathedral of Saint Lazare Autun, Burgundy, France. Okay, I hope that you enjoy our discussion for today. So now, you will be having your independent activity and assessment.
Did you enjoy our lesson? Well, that's good. So let's have your assessment to measure your knowledge about our lesson. For part 1, write art if the statement is correct and work if the statement is false. For part 2, which is a matching type, write the letter of the correct match on the space provided. So you're going to get a piece of paper wherein you're going to write your answer. Who got the perfect score? Excellent! Thank you very much for participating in our lesson. It is a common fact that every culture is associated with art. Art facilitates the preservation of culture in the form of music, paintings, sculptures, movies, etc. With the help of art, we are able to learn the past culture and heritage of societies and facilitate future generations like you. I hope that this video lesson helps you a lot. Thanks for watching. See you!